Kungaloosh and welcome. My name's Wes, and this is Addicted to Adventure, your base camp to explore the treasures and mysteries of the adventure genre. I have to warn you, there are some massive spoilers ahead. This episode has some of the same crap as usual, but it also has a few moments that I would consider to be the high point for this TV series. So if you don't want that spoiled for you, turn back now. At an airport in Mexico City, Billie and her entourage arrive. Jess and Raphael are herded through the airport, where Jess quietly tells Raphael that she still has Ethan's phone. Billie takes Raphael's Grail diary, and she has She-Hulk frisk Jess. However, Jess secretly slips the phone into a pocket of She-Hulk's luggage to keep it from being discovered. In Baton Rouge, Orrin and Liam have gone to the FBI to report Miles's murder. Agent Ross informs them that the Baton Rouge police have searched Liam's house, but the body is missing, along with the door to the clue room with the bullet holes. Having no solid evidence to offer, Sneakers decides to take a polygraph to prove that he's telling the truth. Elsewhere, in the same FBI building, Tasha and Ethan are marched in wearing handcuffs. They were arrested in the last episode, right after they crossed the U.S. border and stopped for gas. I left it out of my review for brevity's sake. Can you blame me? Sneakers passes the polygraph test, and Agent Ross is informed that Tasha and Ethan have just been brought in. Then Agent Ross goes into Tasha's interview room, and we get almost a full minute about Tasha's grandmother that has basically nothing to do with the story. They just need you to know that Tasha's grandmother marched for civil rights in the 60s, which, I mean, great for her, but it's really not relevant to what's going on here. Don't get me wrong, they try and contrive a way to make it relevant. By establishing early on that Tasha's character was a raging political crusader, now they can insert political messaging wherever they like under the guise of character development. It's a sneaky way that the writers leave themselves a back door to inject propaganda wherever they want to. It's part of the character's identity. It's the same thing with Jess and the DACA recipient thing. Anytime they want to insert social commentary about immigration policy, which is often, now they have an excuse to because it's developing Jess's character. Anyway, this is probably where the scene should have started.
When you and Jess first came in here, I did not take you seriously. I was wrong. I know that now because your friend Orrin just passed a polygraph.
Agent Ross tries to convince Tasha to tell her Jess's last known location. Tasha assumes it's a ploy and refuses.
Forget it. She's trying to manipulate me, saying what you think I want to hear so you can find Jess and arrest her. Exactly how dumb do you think I am?
That's a good question. I don't know how dumb you are, but I do know how smug and you are. Agent Ross tells Tasha that she doesn't have to trust the FBI, but that she can trust her. She lets Tasha go, but before she leaves, she gives Tasha her card. Agent Ross urges her to call if she changes her mind. On the jet, Billie is combing through Raphael's Grail diary, convinced that it holds the secret to finding the treasure hidden in the Devil's Swamp. Raphael insists that Billie already knows everything in the journal, but Billie finds a small pencil in the journal cover and removes the eraser to reveal a hollow compartment holding a pin. While this is going on, Jess is trying to retrieve Ethan's phone from She-Hulk's bag. She-Hulk notices that her bag has moved, becomes suspicious, and searches Jess, but she doesn't find the phone.
See? Sit down. Put your hands where I can see them. I don't trust you at all.
Yeah, because you're so trustworthy. At a restaurant in Baton Rouge, Agent Ross arrives late to a lunch date. Hey, it's the High Priest of Science! In nomine observationis et testimonio et spiritus scientiae.
Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Work thing.
Please have some focaccia. It's free. Not that I'm cheap, but just order whatever you like. It's on me. Or is that anti-feminist?
Oh, make it stop. Agent Ross is having a bad day. The High Priest tries to cheer her up with a bouquet of sorts.
Candy wrappers?
We got Flamin' Hot Cheetos, Tic Tacs, and Airheads. That's all the food that has orange dye number 47 in it. To help with the Sadusky case.
I guess he deserves some points for creativity. Agent Ross says that the information is probably too late. Agent Hendricks wants Ross to arrest Jess for the murder, dismissing the evidence that she has pointing to Billie Pierce. Agent Ross also explains about Liam claiming Miles was murdered, but the High Priest of Science tells her that if the police didn't find anything to indicate a murder, they wouldn't have looked for bloodstains.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
No, he wants to bone.
And I am wise in these matters.
And why is that?
Because I am blessed with a penis.
I got my kit in the car.
In an SUV with Miles' corpse in the back, Dario and henchman number 2 realize that they left Miles' phone back at the Sadusky house and picked up Liam's phone by mistake. They decide to go back rather than leave behind evidence. On the plane, Jess finally has a cell signal, so she activates an SOS on her phone. However, She-Hulk discovers the phone and cancels the SOS just in time. She uses a tool to pop open the SIM card tray and deactivate the phone, which leads Billie to guess that Raphael's pin might also open something. She takes Jess's Daughters of the Plumed Serpent medallion and uses the pin to open it.
What is that?
It's a wayfinder. It's like an ancient compass.
In Baton Rouge, Mina is at the bar with a friend when she receives the SOS from Ethan's phone. The same SOS that was canceled by She-Hulk, apparently. I don't know. I don't get it. Mina video calls Sneakers to check on Weepy.
Ethan, are you in trouble?
No, I'm fine.
Tell me our safe word.
Yeah, Ethan, we're waiting. Tickles and giggles.
Oh, thank God.
Why am I not surprised?
I got the worst. I got an SOS.
Jess, she must have sent it.
Of course she has your phone.
No, it's not like that.
You know what? I'm unsubscribing from all this G-Thin drama.
This writing is like passing a kidney stone. Mina forwards the SOS information showing Jess's location somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico, which leads the crew to deduce that she must be on Billie's jet. Tasha has a plan.
I can track that plane. We just gotta find a crappy motel.
How's that gonna help us?
It'll have a crappy TV.
The crew arrives at a motel somewhere, and Tasha finds what she needs, the rabbit ear antenna from the old TV. So couldn't you just buy an antenna at any store? I mean, yeah, the new antennas are digital and not analog. But if you needed an analog antenna and got it at the motel, then I think the bigger story here is this motel hasn't had functional TVs for 14 years.
A modern aircraft recorded their model and location on ADS-B signal.
You're saying you can track Billie's plane with that old antenna?
Ennis, dongles. Don't leave home without them.
In aviation, it's typically pronounced ADS-B. This is all hand-wavy tech bull. Oh, you have a special dongle that lets you access ADS-B. There are several phone apps that let you do this. You and I can download one right now. Anyway, Tasha uses her contraption to determine that Billie's jet is bound for the airport in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Agent Ross and Monsignor Science arrive at the Sadusky house to look for blood spatter. The High Priest sprays luminol around the room. They don't find any blood, but before they can figure out what that might mean, Dario and henchman number 2 arrive to look for Miles' lost phone. They quickly hide in the secret room. Agent Ross pulls her gun and orders them to freeze, but they respond with gunfire. Agent Ross plugs henchman number 2 directly in the chest, but Dario lays down fire as he runs, escaping. The crew is headed for Vicksburg, Mississippi in Sneaker's van.
Plane's still parked. They're not going anywhere.
Can you access the airport cameras, maybe see what they're doing?
Ethan, you know there are limits to what I can do, right?
Figured it was a long shot.
But that's not one of my limits.
Then what was the point of that line? Did the writers think that was clever? In the back of the van, Liam and Sneakers begin to decipher the Crass Est Nostrum book that Agent Sadusky left for Liam.
Why do you underline those words? Find in time.
That's a cipher. He's trying to send me a secret message.
Even cooler.
There's too many underlined words in sentences.
Okay, so why don't we focus on finding time?
Nefertiti's tomb.
Ooh, 1330 BC.
They're page numbers.
Go to 13. 13.
Oh. Oh. Pages 13 and 30. They share the same word. All.
Here, next one.
For my money, this is the best puzzle solving in this entire show. It doesn't take long, but it makes you, the viewer, feel like you're discovering something too. You're along for the adventure. At the airport in Mississippi, Raphael warns Jess that there will be a lot of traps in the Devil's Swamp and tells her to watch for the coyote, a warning sign that was left by the daughters of the Plume Serpent.
Way to the trap, death just around the corner. 3 devices of such lethal cunning.
Booby traps?
Oh, yes.
Like spike pits and snakes.
Yeah, don't forget darts. Not to mention decapitating blades.
Don't you dare get my hopes up. Jess, rather optimistically, plans to use the traps as weapons against Billie and her thugs. Calling that a plan is pretty generous. How do you plan to use the traps as weapons when you don't know where they are, don't know how they're triggered, and don't know what they'll do when they're triggered? I foresee Rain Man powers making a return in the next episode. In the van, Tasha succeeds in hacking the airport's cameras. They notice that in addition to having many armed men, Billie also has boats.
Where are they going?
There's a lot of waterways off the Mississippi.
The Devil's Swamp. The swamp is haunted. It's all over my subreddits. It's like the Bermuda Triangle of the Mississippi. The legend of people getting lost and disappearing there goes back hundreds of years. So what if the daughters of the Plume Serpent made up that legend to scare people away?
I don't love that Sneakers just knows about this. They have established that he's into mysteries and conspiracy theories, so it's decent setup, but it's also pretty convenient. So, I mean, this doesn't annoy me, but I don't love it. Knowing that they don't stand a chance against Billie and her men, Tasha decides to reach out to Agent Ross. Agent Ross is at Sadusky's house while the FBI investigates the shooting. She reiterates to her boss that she believes Billie is behind this.
I'm telling you, Billie is behind this.
We can't make an arrest based on further and farther.
Well, can we make an arrest based on this?
Where are they?
At the swamp, Billie notices that the Wayfinder has started working. In the van, Liam and Sneakers have finished deciphering the book.
All lost treasures. All found. All destroyed. By Crass Nostrum.
What does that mean?
Means Billie isn't a treasure hunter. She's a treasure destroyer.
What?
Why would anyone want to destroy a treasure?
Without a hell of an explanation, this has the possibility to be extremely stupid. In the last episode, it seemed like they were trying to set up these two ancient rival factions, Crass Nostrum and the Daughters of the Plume Serpent. And it kind of feels like sort of a Templars and Assassins thing from Assassin's Creed. But they're also setting up Crass Nostrum to be like the Order of Trinity from the Tomb Raider games. Except Trinity was this hyper-religious, militant band whose purpose was to find and destroy artifacts and to suppress any evidence of the supernatural. So they had a religious motive. But what would possibly be the motive to just destroy valuable treasure? Wait, I'm going to make a prediction. Their motive is going to be some evil desire to destroy other cultures' treasures because of colonialism or imperialism or something like that. There's going to be a political message attached to this. I can just smell it. Agents Ross and Hendricks arrive at the Vicksburg airport and search Billie's jet, but it's empty. Ross calls Tasha, who tells her Billie was headed into the Devil's Swamp. Hendricks mentions that they'll need backup and equipment while he fidgets with a pack of orange Tic Tacs. Seeing this, all of the pieces click into place for Agent Ross. She pulls her gun on Hendricks and disarms him.
It all makes sense now. That's why you were pushing me to arrest Jess Valenzuela. She was just a fall guy.
Ross, you just experienced something traumatic. Listen to yourself. You're using it.
No. I'm thinking clearly. Handcuff yourself to that railing.
Ross, aren't you forgetting something? Your boss carries handcuffs. People that carry handcuffs tend to also carry handcuff keys. She calls the local police to have them pick up Hendricks, and as she rushes off to the Devil's Swamp, Hendricks warns her that if she goes alone, she'll get killed. On the drive to the swamp, she calls the high priest and fills him in on the situation.
If I don't call you back in 20 minutes...
Bets?
As Billie and her henchmen are preparing to board the boats and venture into the swamp, Agent Ross appears and threatens to shoot Billie if her lackeys don't drop the weapons. They comply, but Ross's success is short-lived.
Your treasure hunt is over. The police are on their way.
Yeah, don't give her a warning or anything.
I tried to warn you.
Agent Ross apparently dies, and Raphael remembers the moment 20 years ago when Agent Hendricks, Salazar, killed Billie's brother Sebastian.
You're a liability, Sebastian. Salazar.
Well, I have to hand it to him. There are some big twists in this episode. I was initially pretty suspicious of Agent Hendricks when he wanted to cancel the toxicology report for Agent Sadusky. But they did a good job in this of having him backtrack and be supportive of Ross's investigation from that point on. He didn't really start acting suspicious again until this episode. So I didn't really see this coming. I can't decide if making Agent Hendricks Salazar was brilliant or if it did his character dirty. Keep in mind, this is a character that's been in the National Treasure franchise from the very beginning, as a good guy, working beside Agent Sadusky. Then again, that's kind of what makes it a really excellent twist, is the fact that it makes it seem like maybe he's been keeping tabs on Agent Sadusky all this time, for decades. I'm going to have to marinate on it, but as of right now, I'm kind of leaning towards this might have been a genius use of a side character. I do hope that Agent Ross isn't really dead. She's probably my favorite character at this point, and it did seem like she got stabbed low enough that she shouldn't have died immediately. I'm holding out hope. Speaking of favorite characters, it's amazing to me the way the characters have kind of gone up and down my leaderboard as the show has gone on. Billie, I think, is still one of the better characters, but they just sort of stopped giving her any sort of character development several episodes ago. Sneakers, at first, I thought was obnoxious and dumb, but over the last few episodes, he's kind of grown on me a little bit. I'm still not terribly fond of Weepy, and Tasha is the worst character by far, and it's not even close. The scene where they decipher Sadusky's book is the best problem solving I've seen in this series, so I want to give credit where it's due. That was a really cool scene. It's just too bad that for every good scene like that, there's like 3 bad ones. It's a shame, because they are apparently capable of doing really well, and I wish they would do it more. As I said at the beginning, this episode has some of the same bullshit I've come to expect, but it also has a couple of scenes that I would consider to be the high watermark for the show so far. The National Treasure movies, for whatever faults they may have, are pretty fast-paced. This show never seems to capture the kinetic feel of the movies, but there are a couple of moments in this episode where it's within sight. Those moments are rare and fleeting, but it feels like this episode came the closest. So we only have one episode left. I have a few predictions, but I'm only going to voice one of them right now. I think Billie is going to be the one to kill Salazar as revenge for murdering her brother Sebastian. Plus, since he's a federal agent, that will be a pretty good reason for Billie to go away for a long, long time. Anyway, that's all I have for this episode. If you like what I'm doing here, please like and subscribe. And until next time, fortune and glory, my friends.